Hey. It's been a little bit. It's been about, just around a month and a half since my last upload and update video or whatever. And, I figured it was probably a good time to make a video finally. A lot of stuff kind of happened the past, like, month and a half. And, well, I wouldn't say like a lot, but things happened that I wasn't expecting, and yeah, basically things that happened that I wasn't expecting. Like, my, about a month, no, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, my, PC's hard drive started to get, damaged, uh, memory sectors, I guess would be the word maybe, or sectors. And it was causing a lot of weird crap to happen. So basically my hard drive was dying. Um and I got a SSD as a replacement after I realized that. And instead of reinstalling some version of Windows 10 or something like that, I decided to what would be the word? I decided to finally take the plunge and instead install Linux. In this case, the distro Linux Mint, because I never used anything but Windows before. Well, okay, I used Mac one time when I was in my high school, but that wasn't, that was for like one class that the computers there had Mac or Apple, whatever. Um, so this is the first time I've ever used Linux, and I think with all of the bells and whistles that comes with Linux Mint, I think I've been adopting using it fairly well, so that's good. But there is a lot of annoyances that come with one changing from Windows to Linux, being a lifetime Windows user, as well as just some other things that come with the territory of using Linux, such as software that you previously did use or other things like that, or stuff that's built for Windows for the most part. Windows usually being by default for most like software development things and apps and stuff. So there's a lot of headaches and stuff involving that. But so far, I think it's been going pretty well, and I like Linux. It's just there is many little headaches when it comes to installing software or other kind of things that I'm not used to compared to Windows, where just like almost every application is designed for Windows in some way and stuff. But so far I like it. It's just there's a lot of little things that you have to get used to and change and stuff. Uh, but so far I don't want to change. It's just certain things can be annoying with it, I guess. But yeah, and that was one of the reasons I didn't really want to record any videos, like, or it was just becoming a chore to want to record anything after that point, just because all of my OBS uh, OBS settings were well, I still have some of my OBS settings, but because I was able to recover basically all my stuff that I cared about from my old drive in terms of data, but some settings didn't get completely like transferred over properly or whatever, like my mic settings, my other settings, as well as with Linux. Apparently, the encoding process or whatever is different, or the stuff like the stuff that I had before. So I don't know how this recording is gonna go or be or whatever. I was able to get stuff mostly in a good spot. I don't know how this audio is gonna be. So I'm still gonna have to like basically redo a lot of that stuff, but hopefully this is good enough in the end. But yeah, that's why one of the main reasons I didn't record any videos. But also the main reason I wanted to make this video was a update on the mod locked loot containers that I've been working on for just a little bit over 7 months. Um, so that's pretty crazy. But the main thing I want to do, I guess, bring up was that yeah, I finally decided to release it to the public in version, I'm not a person who really goes by the alpha, beta phase things. I just kind of, when I release something initially, I call it version 1.00 or whatever version 1.0, and then I just continue on from there, even if it's still not in a very finished state kind of deal. But I think right now that's the reason I released it is because one, I was like, it's been like over 7 months. I'm just gonna have to release this because otherwise I'm just gonna go into feature creep hell even more, development hell or whatever, and it's just not gonna be good. So I decided it's best to just release it now, even if some of the features that I wanted initially, when I was thinking of the mod and stuff, are currently not there, such as the big one being like the traps and stuff. But I did a lot of testing, a good amount of testing at least, and from what feedback I've gotten, it seems to be fairly solid stability wise, like not a huge amount of bugs. I'm still not very happy with the loot system, but I've reworked the loot system like 3 fucking times throughout that process, like 3 or 4 times. And this one I think is probably the best of the three, of the four, whatever, 3 or 4 times. And it's still not amazing, but it could be worse, I guess. Like it's just it was taking so much headache and so much energy to just keep trying to make it better, and I was just like, I'm not getting like any headway or whatever. So I just decided, all right, it's fine, it's good enough, whatever. Um, so yeah, I released the mod finally, so that's great. The people that have been paying attention to it or whatever that downloaded it seem to enjoy it so far, which is good. Um, and yeah, I will say, like, one of the main reasons I want to make this update is that I will admit that I did pretty much fail at what I initially set out to do, which was basically make like an entire video series from the start to the end of the modding process for this. But just after like basically the point of my the last time I uploaded, that's where I was basically, well, I mean, even before that, I was just thinking like, oh man, it's just taking so much energy and effort for me to just record at the same time as doing the stuff that I want to do or whatever progress I want to make with the mod, that I was just like, you know what, screw it. Just do do the modding stuff, the coding and all the other things, do that work. Forget recording it. It's just taking too much energy, too much effort. Um so that's basically what I decided to do. So unfortunately, I basically kind of failed around halfway through of that goal I wanted, but I'm not too. I'm a little bit upset about it, but I'm not too torn to shreds or whatever, because I realize that it's like, you know, when you're working on something very specific, it's difficult for others to really get too much out of it, I guess. Like, at the very least, it showed some of the more beginning stuff and some of the ways that I was thinking about certain things and ways to solve problems, I guess, or look at problems. Um, so I think it at least may have succeeded somewhat in that way, I guess. At least now I know that it is surprisingly difficult to kind of record and archive your entire process as you're going along. Like, I'd say the best way to look at that would be just looking at the GitHub repo for the mod, where I have like 130 commits or whatever. And I was committing like almost once a day after when I started getting back into it, after I took like a little bit of a break and stuff midway through or whatever. So I was doing pretty consistently after that point. So there's a lot of stuff that could be seen from that if somebody really cared, I guess. So that's good. Um, and I did like all the other stuff in between. I was even thinking of recording the process of me making the thumbnail and all that crap, but I was like, it was once again, I just didn't feel like doing it. I just wanted to make progress and get the mod done, get it out there, and just be like, okay, now I can move on to my next thing on my list or whatever. Uh, and I still have a lot of ideas as I wrote on the mod page. Um, Hey, you know what? Give me a second and I will show the mod page on the screen, but I think you've gotten to see my face enough for after a month and a half, so I'll still probably keep a little webcam there, but give me a moment. Okay, and we are back. So this is my new desktop, basically. At least my main desktop. I still got the secondary one on the side, but yeah, this is what my my current Linux Mint uh setup looks like, I guess. So it's, it works. It's functional. Some things actually work better than others. Like this flame shot works better than that snipping tool that I used to use. Um and a lot of other things don't work as well. Like OBS is a little bit more buggy on here, I'd say, but it still works apparently. So that's good. Thank goodness that OBS is really easy to work with because I was just able to set this scene up with the desktop and the webcam and my microphone and stuff like in a few seconds there. So that's cool. Um, so let's check out the mod page just for the hell of it. So here it is. Lock loop containers. It's got the lovely thumbnail. It's got the lovely thumbnail that I made. This one is honestly probably one of my less inspired thumbnails in all consideration, but I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go crazy trying to make this something that's so like wild and out there. I think it serves its purpose. It's that very nice hand-drawn art of the thief class in Oblivion, and it is some clip art chest, and he is trying to unlock said chest with the lock visible and everything, and locked loot containers and the Daggerfall font, the little lock up there. Got some showcases of the 3D models and the 2D graph or the 3D model setting or the 2D sprite setting. Some other, little examples here and there, pictures. Got this pretty long mod description. It's really not even one of my longest mod descriptions. But the future features and ideas is definitely like probably my longest one that I've ever had. But it has a lot of stuff in there. It has all the stuff. I went through my notes and stuff and basically just copied like all of them into here. So the things that the top one, the things with the traps and stuff, I want that to be probably the first big feature that I work on next on the mod whenever I plan on working on it again. The hidden compartments thing, the extra flavor text when you're doing the inspecting for stuff like the possibly if the chest manufacturer, the lock manufacturer, and stuff like that. Spells like the lens of truth thing. Spells that maybe you can unjam a lock or whatever. Another one that the user reconcile or reconcile, whatever he prefers to go by, suggested that was pretty cool. I thought was stuff like acids and corrosive mixtures that you can make or buy from like an alchemist or make them yourself with alchemy, and maybe you could like put those on the locks and eat away at the locks with like some time or giving it some time after using it or something like that, and makes it so it's easier to bash off or just straight up eat through it by itself if it's strong enough, that kind of thing. The puzzle box training things, items that would basically work similar to this Rouse Our skill books, but specifically for lockpicking, I guess, and maybe even trap disarming when I ever get to that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna try to add a skill for that specifically, or just have it be mixed together with lockpicking. I'm still not sure on that. More immersive ways to learn about the more meta mechanics from like books in game and stuff. Being able to this is another one that I thought was pretty funny. I don't know how fun it would be in practice, but it sounds pretty funny. Being able to just like, if you're strong enough, pick up in your inventory a chest that's like locked, and then basically bring it back somewhere to do whatever with it, try to unlock it in some different way or something. I really don't know why you'd do that. And it like, because there's no way to better unlock it in some other way right now, at least. But it sounds like a funny idea. Obviously, adding stuff like mimics for an enemy type, a new enemy kind of thing. Support for stuff like the mod language skills overhaul to have the follower NPCs maybe interact with the chests themselves if you want to have them do that. Compatibility with World of Daggerfall for the exterior locations and lots more. So had all that, had the compatibility. I worked on specific compatibility for the loot spawning for notable mods that I cared about, at least, or that I would use myself. That being the ones that I did repair tools, obviously the ones that I made repair tools, jewelry additions. At the very least, the rations from climates and calories can sometimes spawn if it's like a supply item, if you have that installed. Skill books, which is a cool one, and obviously roleplay realism items for the armor and, well, I mean, the weapons is just, the archer's axe and the light flail, but the main ones being the uh, mail and leather material variants for the armors. So I was able to get all that to work pretty well, even though it did take me a little bit, but it was definitely worth it. The work was definitely worth it. Special thanks to so many of the people, basically just anybody I can remember. Uh, talking with just basically almost anybody I just remember, even including people that watched some of my YouTube videos and commented and stuff that I had their names and stuff. So, thank you everybody in that way. And I decided to do the thing that is kind of a pain in the ass, but it might be worth it for the potential headaches that it might alleviate later on in terms of bugs and stuff. But yeah, I decided to build all three operating systems with or build the mod for all three operating system, Linux, Mac, and Windows, instead of doing what I was doing for all my previous mods for the longest time now, was just building the Windows version and saying screw it. After I realized, like, yeah, I was seeing a lot of Linux users, or not a lot, but for the small percentage of the Linux users, mentioning bugs that seem to only be specifically to them instead of the Windows version, which I was like, you know what? Screw it. Even though it's annoying to maintain, it's annoying to update the mod. You have to do 3 different versions and stuff. It makes it look ugly, the download page and everything. Well, now that I'm a Linux user, I thought, obviously that makes sense, but now I'm just like, you know what? Just make it easier for myself later on, hopefully, and just upload all 3 versions instead of dealing with very specific bugs that might come up for versions that it wasn't built for and stuff. So I decided to do that. Source code and all the assets are as a miscellaneous file as well. I even have for 0.14.4, and as of uploading this video, 0.15.1 has already been released, but that's mostly, as Inner Karma mentioned, is mostly there for mod authors to test, not so much as a quote-unquote necessarily stable release. So 0.14.5 is still currently the most current stable release comparatively. So I just uploaded that one, and I had a lot of people, a surprising amount of people comment on the mod page, and I, thank you for the kind words, everybody. I appreciate it. And as well as, on the Discord, a lot of not so much criticism, but questions, things to clarify. I understand that a lot of the meta knowledge is not really there, and I know a lot of people probably don't even care about that, but hopefully some of it's clear enough. I hope to eventually get some kind of way to see that stuff, like I said, with books in game, to kind of see that stuff better, like what attributes help what and how some of the stuff works, I guess. But for the people that have been using it, they seem to have liked it, so they seem to like it so far, so that's cool. Um, do I have anything else to specifically say about that? No, I guess not really. I mean, it was, like I said, it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to make the entire uh process and make the series and all that stuff, the video series, like complete. But it was just becoming too much of a hindrance to my work on the actual mod, trying to upload the videos alongside it and stuff. And it was just, there was just so many days I'd work on the mod for like 8 hours or some shit, and there was no way I would have made that same progress if I was trying to upload videos alongside that. It was just impossible to me, at least. So I just scrapped it after a while, basically, and just said, you know what, just finish the mod. Don't worry about that kind of crap. It's causing too much friction. It's causing too much friction to be worth it right now. I mean, I guess that's all I wanted to say. I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy that I was able to finally release the mod after like 7 months of work on it. Um, and now I could kind of like work on extra features for it, but I'm definitely taking a little bit of a break for a little bit. I don't know how long until I consider working on more stuff for it. Right now, it's just going to be in 1.0 unless somebody comes up with like some game-breaking bug that comes up. I'm not too concerned otherwise. Um, the next thing that I plan on working on is one I obviously wanted to upload this update video. And what I'm probably going to try and do next is, since for these 7 months and longer, I've been neglecting some of my other previously released mods. Some people have brought up some bugs here and there that I have to test and confirm, and then try to fix those. So I'm probably going to next try to fix a few bugs in my previous mods that I've been neglecting, update them to the most recent version, even though they don't necessarily need to be. It's just maybe that'll help fix some of those bugs. I don't know. Um, yeah, and probably upload ones that I think it matters to do, to have the 3 different OS versions, even though I'm not excited about that, but I think it's probably a good idea, especially for stuff like my random starting dungeon, because that had some notable things with its RNG, with Linux issues, compatibility issues, whatever. So yeah, probably the next thing I'm gonna do over the next few days is try to fix and update some of my other mods, to the more like, yeah, just basically update them. Try to do that, as many as I feel like, at least. And then after that, I'm probably gonna work on my next mod project that I had in mind, that I'm basically gonna probably be using almost as like a little bit of a vacation mod, almost like one that just kind of lets me chill out. I shouldn't have to be thinking too much about it. I should know all the stuff that I need to do and stuff that's necessary, basically. So it should be more of just kind of like a lay back and relax mod to release kind of deal. That being most likely a mod called Kleptomania, which is going to try to allow for you to basically pick up I'm not gonna say anything, but many things that I think could be interesting, such as those potions or drinks, whatever you want to call them, that you would see on like sometimes a decoration on tables and stuff. You could pick that up and get it. Actually interact with it. Or things that are going to be more interesting, probably, such as paper or like letters or parchment, stuff like that. Stuff that you find like in the environment as decorations, and it would like have random text on it based on written on it based on the context, I guess, of where that was found and where you took it from. So like if it was in somebody's house, maybe, or anything, like in any location, it could be like a shopping list, like a grocery list or a whatever alchemy list, and a list of stuff that they need to go to the store to get or something like that. I don't know, a love letter. It's basically stuff you'd imagine you'd see in Oblivion with the random letters. If you'd break into people's houses, you'd find like these random letters with like nice little things on it and sometimes interesting stuff. Maybe even have them randomly start a quest here and there. Maybe. I'm not too keen on that because then I would probably have to deal with the quest scripting system, which I'm not a fan of, but maybe even that. But it sounds like it might be a fun mod to work on, at least for a little bit. I'm definitely not going to take months and months on end to make it. Definitely not. But I'm gonna try and do my general regular, by my standards, quality kind of deal, not like just a crap like a shit post or whatever. But that's the next mod I probably want to work on, just as a little bit of a decompressor or whatever. And then after that, I'm not sure what my next. It might be a lot more smaller things here and there, but yeah. I have lots of plans for the future and ambitions, whatever stuff I still want to work on. And it's obviously going to take time, but I'm glad I was able to make my longest singular worked on modding project and finally release it to the public. And it seems to have been getting decent reception and decent praise to some degree from the people that have played it and used it. Not not an insane amount of bugs initially, it seems, so that's great. Um, and I'm not sure what else to say. I guess that's it for now. But hopefully this recording isn't too bad and the audio is all right with this setup. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening and keeping track of this project and all that stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you and putting out good vibes out into the ether, into into the ether, I guess. So yeah, and enjoy your spring so far. I've been enjoying the change of weather, um, the more sunniness and the more warmth and stuff. So that's great. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for keeping track, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.